How do you solve some of today's biggest, most complex problems? Well, the path isn't always a straight line. In this explainer, we're going to follow the incredible journey of Peyman Obeidy to see how an unexpected career, one that started right at the patient's bedside, led to building cutting-edge AI for medicine. And it all begins with understanding a massive global challenge.
Okay, so first, let's really get a handle on the problem. It is massive. Health agencies all over the world are waving a red flag about a critical issue. There just aren't enough radiologists to keep up with the flood of medical scans. And we're not talking about a small gap here. It's a huge imbalance.
And to put a number on that, get this. In the UK alone, we're talking 133,000 medical scans every single day. That is an insane increase from just a few years ago. And it puts this immense strain on the whole system. You get backlogs, you get long waits for patients who are just desperate for answers.
So you gotta ask, what kind of person, with what kind of experience, is even equipped to tackle a challenge on this scale? The answer isn't some single specialty. It's a really unique combination of skills, all forged on a very surprising journey.
And that journey starts right here, on the front lines of healthcare. Peyman Obeidy's early career gave him a direct, totally unfiltered view of the very problem he would one day use technology to help solve. For over a decade, his work was all hands-on. We're talking direct patient care in busy hospitals, helping with hygiene, mobility, checking vitals, supporting the entire nursing staff. This wasn't theoretical stuff. This was the day-in, day-out reality of healthcare. He saw the pressures, the workflows, and the actual patients behind all those scans. This is step one in the innovator's playbook. You have to start with a deep, first-hand understanding of a real problem.
And then, a major shift. He goes from the hospital ward to the research lab, pursuing a PhD in medical science. This is where he starts to move from caring for patients to dissecting the fundamental science behind what was making them sick in the first place.
Now, this next phase, this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. It might look like a total detour into some highly abstract science, but it was absolutely essential for building the unique toolkit he'd need to solve the problem we started with.
His academic path was seriously impressive, taking him from the University of New South Wales to postdoctoral research at world-class institutions like the Centenary Institute and even Harvard Medical School. He was going deep, diving headfirst into the world of pure research. But what was he actually studying? Not hospital efficiency, that's for sure. His focus was on things like single-molecule biophysics,
And then T-cell immunology, exploring the microscopic warriors of our immune system.
and even force spectroscopy, which is basically developing ways to measure these tiny invisible forces between individual molecules. I mean, it all seems a million miles away from a busy radiology department, right?
But here's the kicker. This is the real payoff. All that deep, abstract research forced him to master a powerful set of technical skills. Just to do his experiments, he had to learn Python and MATLAB, develop complex image processing algorithms, and automate his data analysis. This was the unintended but incredibly valuable side effect of his scientific deep dive, and it's the second key ingredient for innovation, getting a deep, transferable toolkit.
So, this brings us to the pivot. It's that moment where two seemingly separate paths, that frontline clinical experience and this deep technical expertise, finally converge. He shifts his focus from molecules to pixels and starts applying his new toolkit directly to artificial intelligence. He started working with a powerful AI technique called transfer learning. The idea behind it is just brilliant in its efficiency. Instead of building an AI model from scratch, you take a model that's already been trained on a gigantic dataset, like, say, millions of photos from the internet, and you just retrain it on a new specific task, like reading medical scans. And this right here illustrates the impact perfectly. In a peer-reviewed paper, his research showed that by using transfer learning, the accuracy of an AI model in detecting breast cancer just jumped significantly. The AUC score, which is basically a measure of how good it is at diagnosing, went from about 0.82 to 0.88. That is a huge leap, and it proved this whole approach works. So he had the clinical insight, he had the scientific background, and now he had the proven technical skills. The next logical step? Well, you move out of the lab and you start building real-world solutions. You become an entrepreneur. He co-founded a health tech company with a super clear goal: develop an AI tool that could automatically triage CT lung scans. The system would help out those overloaded radiologists by flagging the most urgent, high-risk cases so they could be reviewed immediately. And this wasn't just some vague idea either. A detailed project proposal lays out a clear, practical, step-by-step plan. You start with a proof of concept to fine-tune the AI. Then you move to a minimum viable product, an MVP, that just sends a simple high-risk or low-risk flag. And ultimately, you aim for a live system where the AI is actually helping draft reports for a human to review.
And on this project plan, you see his role has completely transformed. He's no longer just an assistant nurse or a researcher in a lab coat. He is the project sponsor, leading a team of architects and product owners to bring this whole vision to life.
Of course, bringing innovation from the lab into the real world requires some serious investment. The project proposal outlines a budget of nearly $500,000, and that's just for the first phase. It's a powerful reminder that even the most brilliant ideas have to be grounded in commercial reality to actually make an impact.
So this entire journey, from the hospital bedside, through the deep science lab, all the way to a tech startup, it reveals this powerful template for what innovation really looks like in the modern world.
So what's the formula here? It is definitely not a straight line. It starts with an intimate first-hand understanding of a real problem. Then comes a deep dive into a seemingly unrelated field to build a powerful, transferable technical toolkit. And the final, crucial step is connecting those two disparate worlds to create something entirely new. And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought. It really makes you wonder, what skills are you building today in one area of your life that might just be the key to solving a completely different problem tomorrow? You just never know where the next big innovation is going to come from.